Recognizing the member from West Vancouver, Capilano.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm so honored today to be able to use my voice in this House, as I should do, to speak on behalf of others. Autism spectrum disorder is a neurological developmental condition that has a wide variation in how it affects each person's needs, skills, and abilities. It's estimated that 1 in 66 children and youth in Canada are diagnosed with autism, and there are approximately 75,000 people affected in British Columbia. 26,000 are young people receiving individualized funding. Children and parents can benefit from effective therapy and intervention that will help individuals and their families address the characteristics of this disorder, help them develop skills, learn to communicate effectively, to succeed at school, and to live independently. For more than 20 years, British Columbia has been a leader in its model for autism care for youth in Canada. Families struggling with autism care have found much comfort in their ability to access the individualized direct funding currently in place to pay for eligible services or supports, such as certified behavioral analysis and occupational therapists, to help promote skill development for their children, to buy equipment or supplies, or for travel to access services. In most cases, it involves spending a long time to vet and to have the right service team for a child. There are well-established relationships and resources that are hard to replace. BC has been very lucky that the current system has encouraged professionals to train for and pursue careers specific to working with autistic children and youth. Many of these professionals are individuals who have built their small business around providing these professional services. British Columbia needs a system that will encourage even more professionals to live and work in this province. But the uncertainty about how a new hub system will support these professionals is causing some to consider whether BC is where they should be. Of course, the current system is not without its flaws. It needs to be expanded to include young people with FASD, dyslexia, and Down syndrome, to name a few. It needs to be streamlined to make it easier for parents to navigate. Although it needs more resources and it needs to be expanded to more children, overall, the current system works. In comparison, Ontario moved to a similar centralized funding model 3 years ago, which has doubled the waitlist for kids since it was brought in and has caused additional hardship for families. In such a hub system, families are forced to compete against each other for resources and for services. When this happens, a two-tier system is created. Those parents who can afford private will go that way, and those who cannot will languish on increased wait lists. We need a system that will provide fair and equal access to all children. Parents have been expressing their concerns about switching to a hub system over and over again. Roseanne Peterson, the parent of 2 children on the autism spectrum who are thriving under the current system, pointed out that the wait lists in Ontario have doubled under a hub model. Nicole Kaler, as a Black woman from Surrey, worries that the hub model will exacerbate the bias and discrimination that many feel when interacting with a government. But by having the ability to put child's interests first, parents can create a system that works for the family in a culturally sensitive way. Carissa Crawley said, I quote, "My family has spent years finding the right service providers for my son, and it will be catastrophic for my family to disrupt the people and therapies that we have put in place. My son, who is struggling, will have the rug pulled out from under him." Jessica Taylor said, and I quote, "I advocated and fought for almost 6 years to get my child assessed, and when he finally got diagnosed autistic after years of struggling, now we finally have a great team set up for him, and he's making so much progress. The hubs won't work for him as he has extreme sensory issues and requires a low stimulation environment. He also has extreme anxiety and we have tried centers in the past that have never worked due to the 2 reasons I mentioned, unquote. Honorable Speaker, for autistic children, transitioning is one of the most difficult things. Changing to a different system will uproot many families' already fragile and delicate day-to-day life. It didn't work in Ontario. Parents have many concerns, which include potential disruption of service, a lack of choice for therapies for children, evidence-based therapies that will be too expensive for families to support outside the hub system, a shortage of service providers, the fact that not all families with autistic children will receive the same quality and quantity of service, being matched with service providers that may not specialize in a child's specific needs, and the location of the hub and accessibility in rural areas. The current system in BC allows parents to be in control of services and supports that their children need. Parents are able to handpick the support team and make sure that everything is designed for their child's diverse abilities. As caregivers, parents play an essential role, and their voices should be heard when it comes to the care of their children. Nothing about us without us communicates the principle that no decision should be made without the full participation of people affected by that policy. These are the words we've been hearing from the autism community in British Columbia since October. When it comes to the well-being and care of children, especially children with support needs, parents should be and must be directly involved. That's why when the government makes significant changes to such a system, families and service providers must be consulted. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I look forward to a response.